In the last video, we talked about this trap that so many product leaders fall into, where they optimize for precision instead of accuracy. In this video, I want to talk about one other common trap, which is the trap of focusing on vanity metrics. Vanity metrics are metrics that are easy to manipulate, maybe intentionally, maybe not so, but they don't actually really give you a sense on the health of the product. Typically, and I'm going to pick up a blog post and kind of expound on it that Tableau did, where they contrasted vanity metrics with more actionable, or what they call clarity metrics. But when you think about sort of the difference between the two, kind of an obvious way to know that you're really dealing with a vanity metric instead of an actual actionable metric is that when the number's going up, everybody in the organization is going to take credit for it. Multiple departments will say, I'm the one who drove this improvement. Yet when it goes wrong, they'll be quick to blame others as well. And the reason for that, again, is because it's not clear the activities that are driving the result. One of the most common examples of this would just be looking at cumulative growth of some number that matters, right? Cumulative number of customers, for example, can only go up and to the right. You'll never have fewer customers. Now, you might have fewer active customers. That's a different thing. But total number of customers always increases. So let's think about what might be a better metric than total number of customers. And again, here's where we're going to point to some of these examples from the Tableau course. So more actionable or clear metrics might be looking at new customers per month, retained customers per cohort, looking at customer spend or customer number of items per individual order, new customers per salesperson, a renewal rate, an upgrade rate, right? But you get the sense how each of these are metrics where you can understand the action driving that outcome. And by the way, performance can go up or down on these. You could have a month where you have fewer new customers per month than you did the month before, even though the total aggregate number of customers will go down. Another one of these is maybe when you think about page views, right? So if you're focusing on growing your audience, you have a media site, so your metric here is page view. Page views, total page views is going to be relatively irrelevant. So some better things might be like, what's your bounce rate? How much time are they spending on page? Sessions per day, week, or month? Unique users per day, week, or month? The cost per each of those visits, or the number of organic visits, right? So you can kind of see how we're sort of breaking the same concept of, okay, audience is important to us, but here are some better metrics than page views to deliver that. This is, I think, less common than it was when I started teaching this class a couple years ago, but there was a point where people really optimized for, well, how many followers do I have? Again, much less helpful than things like, well, how many sessions am I driving from social? What's the click-through on those? What's the engagement per post, per follower, right? How many mentions am I getting across this group, right? But or is there a subset of this audience that really matters to me? So again, we're saying, okay, community is important, social media is important, but let's pick some more actionable, clearly focused metrics than just looking at total number of followers. So here's a question that I think you could easily make either case on. Do you think for a startup, the amount of venture capital raised is a vanity metric or not? If not, I'm curious why you don't believe so. And more to the point, if you do think it's a vanity metric, what might be a better, more actionable metric for an entrepreneur to use? Now let's tie this back to forecasting. So in the same way that we talked about when you're doing forecasting, optimize for accuracy, not precision. When you're thinking about sort of how to think about these metrics that you're building and their impact on forecasting, it's important to make sure that on your KPI or MD&A, whatever you call kind of the sheet that ultimately gives an executive the sense of the metrics that you're forecasting. So KPI is key performance indicators, MD&A is a management discussion and analysis sheet, but typically in these forecasts, you have some sheet that kind of summarizes the health of the metric. What you want to make sure is you're showing these metrics that are clarity or actionable metrics, not vanity metrics. And you want to make sure that the assumptions that you're allowing people to iterate with or show from different scenarios that are driving those forecasts should actually result in changes in these actionable or clarity metrics. And finally, don't forget to tie them back to your North Star metric. Remember, if the North Star metric is the metric that the whole group, the whole department, the whole product team is focused on, looking at for overall health, don't forget to tie these clarity metrics back to how they tie in to the overall North Star metric of the business. All right, and with that, I think we've really highlighted now two very common pitfalls for financial forecasting. One, over-indexing on precision versus accuracy, and two, highlighting these vanity metrics instead of these more actionable or clarity metrics. Thanks so much, and hope to see you again soon.